I want to do a structural review of the collapsed columns on the Manhattan project that happened on July 7th. You see here the collapsed columns on the 21st floor. This project was a renovation of the Pfizer office building, which was being converted into a $700 million apartment complex. As you see the rendering from Gessler Architects. The drawings, they were to add 19 floors to the existing floors in this area right here. And you see from these pictures the infill area, the 19 floors atop of the existing floor, and this is where the columns collapsed on the 21st floor. And as we know, they evacuated the building, and the fire department, along with the owner, shored the area at the columns on the evening of July 7th. Last Friday, a publication called Gothamist published structural details pulled from the permit drawings on file with the New York City Department of Buildings. Now you see the column schedule that was provided by the structural engineer of record, Gase Engineering. The new steel columns per floor are highlighted in pink, and as I zoom in, you can see the floors of the structure. The area shaded in gray from floors 7 to 22 are the existing columns of the existing building, which according to the engineer's detail were to be reinforced with vertical steel plates welded to the interior web of the I column. The red indicates the I column, the existing one. And the vertical steel plates are highlighted in yellow, and they're to be welded in the web. And as shown, the plates vary in thickness from a ½ inch to an 1.5 inches. And they're to be welded in accordance with the American National Standards. See here in this 3D rendering the existing I column in stage 1, and then the installation of the vertical steel plates in stage 2 and 3. The existing column that buckled on the 21st floor, however, lacked this box jacking or column jacking, and according to the engineer of record, Gase Engineer, the reinforcement plates from the 19th floor to the top of the 21st floor were never installed because column jacking significantly increases load carrying capacity. The engineer who inspected the floors in person determined that the 3 floors of required jacking were missed. This leaves a critical remaining question whether all the other floors received the specified column jacking as originally designed. It appears the construction management team that oversaw this project missed these plates, letting it fall through the cracks somewhere between their estimating, purchasing, or project management departments. At my firm, either myself or my project managers oversee every step of the process so that a single entity remains responsible for the entire project. For the estimate, we perform a complete takeoff of all project quantities to build our estimate, thoroughly reviewing the structural, architectural, and MEP drawings to determine the best approach for construction. Once awarded the project, that same takeoff allows us to generate purchase orders for structural components and to build the overall schedule with the input from our trades and suppliers. For this project, we would input a specific line item for the buyout and shop drawing approval of the structural steel, the column jacking on per floor, and then we'd establish a milestone date for the delivery of the column jacking plates. And by updating this schedule on a bi-weekly basis, we keep our welders and iron workers closely aligned with the intended work schedule. Another item that gets overlooked on these types of projects is establishing a specific construction project checklist. I started this practice over 30 years ago on a water treatment plant project, but let's go further back to the genesis of the checklist. And in 1935, Boeing Corporation had built the B-17 bomber, the Flying Fortress, for the Army Air Corps. However, on their first test flight, the B-17 crashed and killed 2 people. The Army Corps considered the B-17 too complex to fly until Boeing's engineers convinced them that it was a pilot error and where they forgot to release the gust locks before takeoff. So they proposed that they would implement a pre-flight checklist that was a simple, standardized, written procedure to be used before taking off. With this, they flew almost 2 million miles without a serious accident, and so this success led the military to make the checklist a permanent mandatory requirement. And this pre-flight checklist is used worldwide today. So in that analogy, we use the same thing in our projects, a construction checklist. And for this project, I would include the column jacking per floor and per column. This way, the construction project manager or superintendent has physically inspected each column to confirm that the correct material was installed and that the welds were inspected by a welding inspector and that you have verified that your welder is certified. You can document this per floor. Finally, I strongly encourage project owners and developers to make a deal with a structural engineer of record to inspect the site periodically. This ensures that what is designed is actually being installed correctly. Having the engineer collaborate with the construction manager to review critical phases such as checking column jacking on 2 or 3 floors before drywall goes up catches issues early and protects the structural integrity of the building.
To make a deal.
What kind of a deal?
A deal. Maybe the guy's a Republican. Business is business. Right?
How much do you cost?
$200 a day plus expenses.
That's absurd. I'll give you 50, no expenses.
Mr. Dexter, I don't know what you think is going on here, but I sell a service. Now, if you want the service, you pay what I think it's worth. If you think it's too high, you can go down on Main Street and deal with one of those guys.
You're a little touchy there, huh?
Right. I'm a little touchy.
Okay, I'll pay it.
Let's review in a summary. Number 1, have your project manager perform the material quantity takeoff of the entire project so they understand how to build it from the ground up, start to finish. Number 2, have the same project manager develop the overall construction schedule with input from your trades and suppliers and establish milestone dates for key deliverables. Number 3, have the project manager develop an overall construction checklist and coordinate directly with the superintendent to confirm that items are inspected accordingly. And number 4, negotiate with a structural engineer of record to review the work in progress. If you follow these suggestions, you'll have a successful project.
You've been waiting a long time for this, Kelly. Don't ruin it for yourself. You follow?
Success.
Success. Success.